Assyria, the Iron Empire of fire and memory. Before the glory of Rome, before the strategy of Persia or the mystique of Babylon, there was Assyria, a civilization that rose like a storm from the northern plains of Mesopotamia and forged the world's first true military superpower. To speak of Assyria is to enter a world where ironclad discipline, divine kingship, and state terror were not only the instruments of control, but the engines of innovation. At its height, Assyria was the unchallenged master of the ancient Near East. And yet, it left behind not just tales of cruelty, but blueprints for empire, archives of learning, and images of startling sophistication carved into stone. Let us walk into the heart of a civilization that burned bright with both brilliance and brutality, where kings were poets and executioners, and where every battle, every building, every word etched into clay served one ultimate purpose: to make the name of Assyria eternal. The roots of the storm. From Ashur to empire. The story begins in the city of Ashur, rising above the banks of the Tigris sometime around 2000 BCE. At first, Assyria was merely a trading outpost, a city dedicated to its namesake god, Ashur. It thrived not on conquest but commerce, sending caravans of tin and textiles deep into Anatolia. But the character of the Assyrians changed with time. As they interacted with Babylonian scribes, Hittite warriors, and Amorite rulers, they began to dream of more than just trade. The god Ashur, once a city protector, evolved into a warrior deity, demanding expansion. Kings became his servants, not for wealth or glory, but for cosmic order. War as ritual, rule as destiny. By the 14th century BCE, Assyria began to assert its military and political muscle. But it was during the Neo-Assyrian period, c. 900 to 612 BCE, that the empire transformed into a military-industrial machine, more efficient, more ruthless, and more systematized than anything the world had seen. Under kings such as Ashurnasirpal II, Tiglath-Pileser III, Sargon II, Sennacherib, and Ashurbanipal, Assyria expanded through sheer force and bureaucratic control. Armies were no longer raised seasonally, they were professional and permanent. Units were specialized: infantry, cavalry, archers, siege engineers. Iron replaced bronze, and the Assyrians became the undisputed masters of siege warfare. Cities that resisted were besieged, starved, and annihilated. Survivors were marched into exile, mass deportations that scattered rebellious peoples across the empire, weakening ethnic identities and turning them into economic assets. But this was not mindless violence. To the Assyrian mind, warfare was a form of sacred duty.